So find your seat. Good morning. For those just now popping on, good morning, good morning. Glad to have you here. Take a moment to just settle your sits bones into whatever is beneath you. And look around, use your senses, look around the space that you're in. And I'm going to invite you to take a really big inhale through your nose and then let out a nice big audible sigh. You can exaggerate that with your shoulders if you'd like. Breathe them up, breathe in. Good. And because no one really can hear you, at least, or maybe there's somebody at your house that can hear you, I'm going to encourage you to really just let out a sound in a sigh form that maybe would make you feel a little self-conscious in other environments, but just let your body really express whatever it needs to. Good, and one more, and really let all that air out with this one. Good, you can let your eyes close if you'd like to, or you can keep them open. And just noticing how those exhales might have helped you to settle a little more, might have brought you a little more into your body, into the moment. So for our class today, our theme is the post-Hanukkah glow. So last week we dove into Hanukkah, and this week I want to just talk about how do we keep that post-Hanukkah glow? How do we stay connected to our dedication or our intention? How do we keep our flames, our inner flames, burning bright? And I think it's by remembering that we already are vessels of light. And so how do we keep that vessel clear and open, and how do we feed ourselves so that that vessel is always able to stay connected to our deepest intentions, to being a light in the world? So Rebbe Nachman says that a sigh is so powerful, it can literally replenish a person's soul, giving them a renewed and recharged ruach, or spirit, which I firmly believe. So the sigh, as we exhale, that is a letting go, that it's making space for us to return to the moment. And the inhale is the oxygen that a fire actually needs to burn. So the breath is a constant process of both stoking your inner fire and returning home to yourself, returning to your deepest intentions. So keeping that in mind, we're going to take the opportunity to let out lots of sighs today. Lots of sighing, lots of letting go, making space for whatever is there to make itself known. So from our seated position, either on your block or on the floor or on a chair, we'll start with foot massage. So if you're in a chair, it might be easier for you to have the ball under your foot. For those of you who are seated, we're just going to bring the one foot out in front. And if your hips are open enough right now, I know it's like first probably movement of the day for some of us, you could try to put your foot up on a little block, but whatever works for you. And I'd like you to use your thumbs and just start working the inside arch of your foot. You can also use your knuckles, do a little knuckle twist down the middle of your foot. Just take a minute here to use your own hands to work with your foot like it's clay, or use the ball if you're seated in a chair, and just imagine that foot is clay and you're just warming it up. If you're using your hands, you can stretch your toes in opposite directions, or even get your fingers in between your toes, or attempt to. If you're using the ball, you can drape your toes over the ball. For the heel, I like to use my bigger knuckles at the top of the fist and do a little twist or press. Good. And then go ahead and extend your leg and just do a little wobble from side to side. Or if you're sitting in a chair, just do a little shake out of the leg. And we're going to find a meridian point, an acupressure point, to help energize our bodies. And we've done it one other time in class, in an online class. So it's a point related to the stomach, but this releases a lot of energy if you're feeling any lethargy. So you have your kneecap, and then if you bring your hand down and over to the right, there's going to be another little bone kind of sticking out, a little tiny bone there. Go ahead and go below that bone and then in toward your shin. So there's this little tiny pocket. So it's underneath that little bony bump and then inward towards your shin. And if you are in that spot and you press firmly and do some circles, you can also use knuckles for this. It could be a little bit sore. Good. And just give it a little vigorous. I like to use both hands sometimes so my arms don't get tired, or even the opposite hand. I can kind of hook my fingers into that area, like over the shin, and just can dig in there. That actually gets me in there a little deeper. So see what works for you. Look for the sorest spot, and then you're probably right on the point. Good. All right, and then just give it a rub with your palm. And then we're gonna switch sides. So let's do the left foot, or whatever foot you didn't do last time. And get in there with your fingers, or use the ball. Just warming up the foot like clay. So our feet are vessels of light. They take us where we need to be. They help us do our work in the world. So we're helping this vessel to open up. Breathing into any sore spots that you might find. Maybe stretching the toes. And then moving to the acupressure point, it's the same setup on the other leg, right below the knee. And this time you move off to the left a little bit to find that little bone sticking out under the knee. And then drop those fingers below and toward the shin bone, and move your fingers around till you find that sore spot. This is if you get acupuncture, this is a pretty common point for a practitioner, a needle, to release energy, to give you energy. And then, physiologically it's great too, because you're getting into some of the attachments of the shin muscle. Good. And then give that spot a little rub. Good. And then from your seated position, wherever you are, go ahead and inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Inhale, stoking your inner fire. Exhale. We're going to notice what foot is in front if you're on the floor, and if you're in a chair, think about crossing your ankle over the opposite thigh. We're just going to stretch the outer thigh a little bit and then hinge forward. Take some breaths into that hip or wherever you feel it. Just noticing how it feels this morning. And then come on up, and then we'll switch. Bring that other leg forward if you're seated on the floor, and then change sides if you're on a chair. And when you're ready, hinge forward again. Good, come on up. And then we're going to come onto our backs with our strap. Have your strap handy, and first just hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Maybe you can hold onto your knees and draw some circles on the ceiling. The knees will move away from the body and then over to the side and then come back in. So imagine that you are just actually trying to make contact with all of your sacrum, the lower part of your back, massaging the outer edges of it with the floor. And then change direction. Go nice and slow. Good. Back to center, and then open the knees, but hold on to your shins so that you can just rock a little from side to side, just waking up the groin area, the deep hip area. Make some circles with your feet. Good. And then go ahead and bring your feet to the floor with your knees bent. And we'll open up the back of the leg with our strap. So right foot will go into the strap. And your left leg can be straight or bent, your choice. And just slide those shoulders down away from your ears and make sure your arms are relaxed. So it helps to just wrap the strap around your hand so that you're not having to grip the strap very tightly. And flex your foot. Take a deep breath in and let out a sigh. And then slowly bring your leg across your body just a little bit, just maybe a couple of inches until you feel an outer hip stretch or wherever you feel it. You might feel it even in your calf or the side of your calf. Pause wherever you feel a little bit more tight and just breathe some light into that space. Breathe some warmth. Thinking of your leg as a vessel of clay. Letting the breath help to mold the leg. Bring it back to the shape that it is designed to be in. You can bring your leg back to center and then hold the straps with your right hand and start to bring your leg out to the side. Noticing if that left hip wants to roll up, and see if you can contract your belly so that, and squeeze your left glute so that everything stays a little more rooted down to the ground. and breathe into the inner thigh. You can bend that right knee just to help create a little less of a lever to bring the leg back up to center. And hold on to both straps again. And then internally rotate the whole leg, and then externally. So turn the whole leg bones, all the bones inward and then outward. It's like you're smearing a little smiley face on the ceiling with your heel. Back and forth. Good. Go ahead and release the strap from this side and just hug your knee in toward your rib cage. Do some more ankle circles here. And then with your block handy, if you need it or want it, bring your block to your left side. We're going to go ahead and take a twist. I like to scoot my hips over first, scoot them over to the right, and that way when my knee comes to the left, it's a little less of a deep twist, especially in the beginning of our practice. So your block can catch your knee, if that works for you, and your arms can, let's see if we can open up the arms so that we can breathe into the chest and the heart space. Just waking up the body from the bottom to the top. So try letting out a sigh in this shape and notice where you feel it in your body. Now pull your belly in, and you can help guide that knee back up, coming gently out of your twist. Go ahead and straighten out your hips so they're both flat on the floor. And then take your strap and bring it around your left foot this time. Starting just like we did on the other side, wrapping the hands around the strap, shimmy the shoulders down. Start with just as straight. The leg is straight up. It can be a little bent if it needs to be, not a problem at all. Just as long as you're feeling a stretch. Reach your heel to the sky, reach your toes toward your nose. Breathe in and so your sighs might be more breathy, or they might be a little more resonant, maybe drawing the sound out with more of a hum or open mouth sound. So just notice what comes naturally to you in this moment. You can start to bring your leg across your body, getting into the outer leg now, and pause there and just breathe. Keep flexing your foot. And then slowly bring the leg back through center. Hold the straps with your left hand and start to open the leg out to the side till you feel an inner thigh stretch. Rooting down through that right hip and engaging your belly. Breathe here. Go ahead and bend the left knee a little bit to help bring the leg back up to center. You can hold the straps with both hands and do the little internal and external rotation of the leg. Draw your little happy face with your heel on the ceiling. Good. Let's go ahead and release the strap and hug the knee in toward your rib cage. Do some ankle circles. And then you can take your block if you used it last time and bring it over to your right side next to your hip, and then scoot your hips over to the left and come into a twist with that one leg crossing over the body. Maybe the arms are open, or maybe you have one hand helping to support that knee. And just breathing here. Engage your core and start to help your knee back up. Go ahead and straighten out your hips. Your knees can be bent, feet on the floor. And then go ahead and lie flat and just feel the lower body, the connection that your buns are making with your mat, the connection of your heels to the floor. Breathe into the lower body and release. Good. We're going to now flip over. Go ahead and press yourself up. We'll come to hands and knees for cat-cow. And if you ever need to just take extra good care of your wrists, you can always come onto your knuckles if your wrists are sore, or fingertips. And moving through our cat and our cow, rounding the spine, maybe as you exhale, and then inhaling as you arch the back and gaze up. And exhaling, rounding. And take your time. So can you breathe in nice and slow and match the pace of your spinal movement with your breath? And as you exhale, nice and slow through pursed lips, can you slow down the rounding of your back? Good. Let's open up the knees and come into a child's pose. Reach your arms in front of you or keep them close to you. Take a pause here, feeling your forehead on a mat or on your block, whatever you need. And just let your breath help to soften your hips. Think of like a pottery wheel where your body is the pottery piece, and as you breathe, you're just settling in, you're connecting to the base. Good. We're going to come back up to hands and knees and have both of your blocks handy. So for these, we're going to do a little kneeling lunge to soften up and open up the hips. So if you need a blanket to give you a little bit of extra padding under your knees, that's totally fine. We're going to bring the right foot forward first with the blocks as an extension of the arms. And go ahead and walk your blocks forward and come into a little bit of a deeper lunge. And look at your knee, make sure that it's over your ankle. Not like this is maybe be too much, right? With your knee way out over your foot. So you want to walk your foot out enough so that you have a nice strong base of support, but you can also get into the inner thighs. Open heart, open chest here. Slide your shoulders down your back. So do a little Kegel, so pull all the muscles up in your pelvic floor, so just like you're holding urine, you want to pull up on all those muscles, and think of engaging your inner thighs toward each other like your legs are a pair of scissors. You're going to pull the legs isometrically toward each other. It's a lot more work than it looks like. Good. And now just start to walk your foot back and your blocks back. Now bring your foot underneath you so you're in more of an upright, right angle kind of lunge. I like to tuck my toes of the back foot. It helps me be more stable, gives me more of a stretch, but see what works for you. And then bring your hands to your hips and imagine you're just pulling up on your frontal hip bones and tucking the tailbone down toward the floor. Good. Your arms can come out to the sides for balance, or they can come up overhead. And then let out an ah. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Ah. Arms settle back toward the body. Inhale, reach up. Ah. Good. We're going to take the second side. Go ahead and bring that left foot forward and come into your deeper lunge. So we want to create safety and stability in the lower body, so activating the whole pelvic floor, engaging those inner thighs toward each other, or imagining that your front heel is magnetizing toward your back knee. Good. Shoulders back and down. Breathe here. Getting nice deep stretch in that hip flexor and in the groin area. So let that breath stoke your inner fire. Let it warm you up from the inside. Let your exhale help you arrive more deeply into the pose. Good. Now we're going to walk those blocks back. Bring your foot back. Find your 90-degree angled lunge here. Pulling up on those frontal hip bones, dropping the tailbone down. And you'll feel as you do that more of a stretch in the front of the thigh, and then the arms can come up, or if you need a little extra help with balance, you can reach your arms out to the side. Breathe here. Exhale, just opening the heart in whatever, this chest area in whatever way works for you. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. One more. Good. We're going to come out of this. Go ahead and put your blocks in front of you off the mat. And remove your blanket if you had one there. And we'll come to standing in mountain pose. Go ahead and inhale, reach up. Let out a sigh. And let yourself fold forward with as much support as you need. So your hands want to land somewhere with your hands close to your body on blocks or floor, whatever works for you. You can bend your knees and release your head. Just turn your head gently from side to side. Drop your head really heavy. Chin moves toward the chest. Big deep breath, kind of stretching the back of the upper body. So feeling that breath move into the upper back. Good. Pull your belly in and start to come up. Look up first. Start to come up with a flat back. Reach those arms out and back to your heart. Good. We're going to use our massage ball for just some chest massage here. So go ahead and grab that. And if you're not using a ball, fingertips are great. So we'll start with a ball in the the working hand is going to be the left hand, and then we're going to work the right side of the chest. And move your arm around as you roll that ball, or move your fingertips in all the spots that might be a little sore. Keep your knees soft. Coming toward the center of the chest as well, just to get into those neuro-lymphatic points to help support your immune system. Get under your collarbone and go from side to side. This is getting also into acupressure point, the one that we tap often. So just get all underneath that collarbone. I just did something new. Maybe you'll like it. If you have a sore spot, you can stop, press the ball down, and then use your other hand on top of that hand and just gently press inward. That feels like a little massage pressure point release. I like that. It's a new one for me. Good. When you're ready, you can switch hands and make your way over to the left side of your chest. Knees are soft, breath is flowing. Good. Make a couple more passes over any areas that feel tight. Just softening this vessel of our body from the ground up. Creating the environment for light to move through us. Good. And then you can set your ball down and just do a little shaking of the upper body. Maybe let your arms get really loose. Feel like as if you don't have any bones. And then let that shaking make its way into the rest of your body. Big breaths. Maybe a little bouncing. Maybe a little twisting. Whatever you need right now. So just notice if the bouncing, the twisting, the shaking, all of the above. Good. All right. So we'll move through a couple of standing poses. If you want to use your chair at any point, we are starting with a deeper hamstring stretch. So I'm going to have both my blocks here. That's what I'll use. We're doing the pyramid pose. So the right foot's going to come forward, but your stance isn't super wide. Your stance is like you're standing on railroad tracks, right? So not super wide, not super narrow. And also your foot is closer to your body than it would be for warrior one, because you want to have your back foot flat on the floor. And then the front leg is going to stay as straight as possible. So we'll put our hands on our hips. Activate your thigh, so really feel like you're lifting up on the kneecap, which is going to help release your hamstring, and then start to fold forward with your belly pulled in. So this is why maybe you want to land on a chair seat, or you can land to blocks, or some of you may come all the way toward the floor. So you're shifting your right hip back a little bit and your left hip forward. Think of squaring your hips and come down just till you feel a stretch. So that might not be that far for some of us, right? We might really just feel a stretch right away. Breathe, keep the belly pulled in. Good. We want to keep the belly engaged so that we don't stress out our lower back. Big deep breaths here. Turn around so that I transition better. Okay. From here, you're going to bend your front knee a little bit more so that you can just rise back up. And then go ahead and step your back foot farther back. So you've got a support. Your base is for warrior, like a warrior 2 support. So front ankle lines up with your back arch. And we're going to come right into warrior 2 with the front knee bent. Good. Just to start in warrior 2, draw the tips of the shoulder blades down and back and down. Good. Reverse your warrior. Reach your front arm up, your back arm behind you. Pull your belly in. Big breath in, and then exhale. We're going to come all the way to side angle. Top arm is your choice, what you do with it. We're going to go back and forth between this and reverse. Ready? Inhale, come up into reverse. Good. Exhale. Side angle. Good. Inhale, reverse. You're keeping that front knee bent. And exhale, side angle. Good. Go ahead and float back up to warrior 2. Take a pause here with that front knee bent. Feel the heat building in that leg. Bring your hands to your heart. Good. And now we're going to take our pyramid pose with the other leg in front. So that's going to be our left foot in front, the right foot back. Front leg is straight. Hands on the hips to start. Squeeze your thigh so that your hamstring can let go as much as possible. With your belly pulled in and up, we're going to hinge forward to where you feel a stretch. Good. We're going to look for trying not to round the back. So if we're going too low, we might round in the back. And so that would mean we want a little more support. Maybe it's up here on a chair, but we want to avoid rounding the back if possible. Bring the left hip back and the right hip forward a tiny bit, just a little adjustment there. Belly is pulled in. Back foot is really pressing into the mat. Good. Bend your front knee a little bit more and then press yourself up. And then open your stance nice and wide for warrior 2 on this side. Reverse your warrior. Breathe into that whole rib cage as you reach up. As you exhale, side angle pose. Good. Keep your belly really engaged as you move through this. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Breathe in. Stoke the fire. Breathe out. Return home to your body. Float your arms back to warrior 2. Pause here. Good. We're going to bring the hands to the heart, and you can just keep your legs wide, nice and wide, but then toes point forward for our wide-legged forward fold here. Let's go ahead and come down, hinging at the hip crease. Squeezing the thighs to release the back of the body. And in this pose, it's really nice to also let go. You can breathe in and let out a nice big sigh. Open up your jaw, your mouth, just stretch out your mouth
Maybe stick out your tongue. Try sticking out your tongue and then opening your mouth really wide and then also letting out an ah sound. Ah, like, you know, there's like a little depressor thing on your tongue. Ah. Good. We're gonna come back up. So take your time. Heel toe those feet together so you can safely come up with a flat back. And we're gonna keep the legs wide. Maybe not as wide, because we're gonna walk the heels, bring the heels toward each other, and the toes will point out for a gentle squat here. For separating heaven and earth, so we'll bring our hands to our hearts. So inhale as you reach one arm up and one arm down. Really stretch in opposite directions. Exhale. Hands will come to your heart. So you're gonna match this with your breath. So it's easy just to go through the movement, right? But we want to marry the breath and the body. So however long your inhale is how the pace you take for this movement. However long the exhale is. Your hands are there when you're empty. Okay, so let's try this on our own. Can you go from doing the movement to being the movement? Good. Let your hands rest at your heart. Walk your feet together in mountain pose here. Just take a moment with your gaze either softly down or maybe your eyes are closed. Reconnecting to your dedication from Hanukkah to those causes or the purpose, the mission of your life right now. We're going to do something called bringing down the flame. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. Fingertips will all touch. As you exhale, bring your thumbs to your forehead. Inhale. Exhale, thumbs to your heart. Inhale. Exhale, a little diamond shape over your belly. Inhale. Flatten your hands on your belly and exhale. We'll do that again. Inhale, reach up. All the fingers and thumbs touch. As you exhale, thumbs to the forehead. Inhale. Exhale, thumbs to the heart. Inhale. Exhale, diamond over belly. Inhale. Flatten the hands on the belly. Exhale. And be aware of the hands, the legs, the feet. And then we'll slowly come to the floor. Have a block and a blanket handy. And let's return to our backs. And let's do a figure 4 stretch. And this is in lieu of a pigeon. If you practice pigeon pose, this is your chance to do that. We're going to cross the right ankle over the left
thigh and just bring that leg toward those legs toward us, using a strap if you need to around the left back of the left thigh, and flexing both feet. And just use your breath here to soften and to give permission to that hip to open up a little bit more. And go ahead and release and change sides. And release the side. Let's bring the block under the hips for legs up pose, or you can stay in supported bridge, whatever works for you today. And we'll take a few moments, a few deep breaths in whatever shape you've chosen. Let's start to bring, if your legs are up, start to bring your knees towards your chest. And then bring one foot at a time back to the floor. And then we'll all slide that block out from underneath and place your hips over to the right a few inches. And place them back on the mat. And then take a twist, a final twist with the knees to the left. And then the arms, whatever you want to do with your arms. And then lift the top knee, followed by the bottom knee. Shift your hips over to the left a few inches and drop your knees over to the right. And then pull the belly in, come back to center. Knees are still bent. Now let's release the neck before we come into Shavasana. So hands are by your side. First, just turn your neck from side to side. And then back to center. And then lift your right arm up overhead and at the same time turn your head to the left. So look away from your armpit. And reach with your arm and turn your head and feel the stretch there. And then as you exhale, come back to center. And then inhale, lift the left arm and look to the right.
and exhale back to center. So do 4 of these, and again, match your breath to the movement. So there's nowhere that you need to get to. Just be with this very moment, this very body as it is. And when you're done with your 4 neck releases, set your body up for Shavasana, however you are going to be most comfortable today, using blankets or pillows or blocks. And as your body finds a place of stillness, begin to feel the weight of your body being held by gravity. Notice if there are any places in the body that might be resisting gravity and kind of holding themselves up, and invite those places to surrender to the support that is available. So just breathe out and return to gravity. Notice any muscles in the neck or face or jaw or tongue that could let go a little more. This is from our Siddur. You are praised who rolls out the rough, raw clay of the universe into delicate vessels of light. And from nothing at all, we could perceive in a world that has turned old, a shimmering new creation right before our eyes, made this moment just for us. How much of life reveals your presence? How much Torah unfolds from each new flower, from each new wave that breaks upon the sea? You are praised, who forms the clay that cloaks our lives, the delicate vessels which contain our light. Baruch atah Adonai Yotzer HaMeorot. Olam chesed ibane, yadarai, yadarai, yadarai. Olam chesed ibane, yadarai, yadarai, yadarai. Olam chesed ibane, yadarai, yadarai, yadarai. Olam chesed ibane, yadarai, yadarai,
Olam chesed ibane, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed ibane, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, 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 then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed ibane, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. Olam chesed ibane, yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. You are a vessel of light created to build this world from love. I invite you to bring your hands over your heart and take a breath. Knowing that each breath keeps your inner flame bright. And then take all the time you need to roll to your side and breathe there for a moment. And when you're ready, you can press yourself up to seated if you're not already there. With your hands at your heart center in prayer. And we close with our universal blessing. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free. May all beings be loved. And may all beings have peace. May it be so. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Shalom.